All right, so today we're going to keep solving equations and we're going to solve with variables on both sides instead of just on one side. So as a review, pause the video and do these two examples as warm-ups. All right, so remember you start by drawing your line down the center, and everything you do to one side, you have to do to the other side as well. And you're going to go backwards the order of operations. So you're going to start by adding and subtracting. So I'm going to add this 11 to both sides. The t over 8 drops down. Negative 9 plus 11 is going to give you 2. Multiply both sides by 8 to cancel that out, and t will equal 16. Same idea over here, drop your line down. You want to distribute this first, so you get 6t minus 3 plus 8t equals 25. And now combine like terms. So these two can be combined. Remember, you cannot combine across the equal sign. So that 25 and that negative 3, you can't do anything with them because they're not on the same side. So you get 14t minus 3 equals 25. Add 3 to both sides. 14t equals 28. Divide by 14. T equals 2. Move that up a little bit. And that's your answer. All right, so now we want to clear fractions from an equation. So here's two options. Number one, you could combine like terms and add things together and solve like normal, or just deal with this. You could like add 7 to both sides, figure out what you get. If you don't like working with fractions, you can get rid of them by multiplying your entire equation by both denominators. So 3 times 5 is 15. So I'm going to multiply this whole thing by 15 over 1. Again, you don't have to do this. You could add 7 to both sides, do 16 fifths plus 7, and just work with fractions the whole time. But if you don't like fractions, this is a way to get rid of them. So you're going to distribute this to all three things. So if you do 4 times 15, you get 60x over 3, minus 7 times 15 is 105, and then 16 times 15 is 240 over 5. And now you can simplify and keep solving. So 60 divided by 3, you get 20 minus 105 equals 48. And now you can solve like normal. So a little extra step, but now you don't have to do anything with fractions. So add 105 to both sides. Then 20x equals 153. Divide by 20. Divide by 20. And then here, if you want a decimal answer, you're going to get 7.65. So if you're doing Math Excel or something else, make sure you're looking to figure out what is it asking. Does it want a decimal answer, or does it want you to leave it as a fraction? So leave it as 153 over 20. Same idea with this next one. We want to get rid of the 7 and the 2, so multiply both for everything by 14. 14 times 2 is 28 over 7 minus 154x over 2 minus 28. And then simplify. So you'll get 4 minus 77x equals negative 28. And now you can solve like normal. So subtract 4, negative 77x equals negative 32. Divide by negative 77, and x equals 0.415. There you go. All right, so clearing decimals, there's two options here. If they all have the same amount of decimals right here, you can get rid of them and just solve like normal. So for this one, I could rewrite this as 102 minus 73x equals 321. What you're doing in a sense is multiplying everything by 10, and that gets rid of the decimal. This only works if you have the same amount of numbers after the decimal place. So then you can subtract 102 from both sides. You get negative 73x equals 219 divided by negative 73. And x equals negative 3. So this next one, we have one number off the decimal point, and then we have two numbers and two numbers. So we can't do the same thing. So this one just solve like normal and just deal with the decimals. So add 0.13 to both sides. You have 6.1x is going to equal 12.2 divided by 6.1, and x equals 2. So either way, I don't care which way you do it. This one, again, you have to have the same number of numbers after the decimal point for it to work. So here's what we just did in words. So getting rid of the fraction, find the least common denominator, and then multiply everything by that. You should have no new fractions at the end once you simplify. Then solve like normal. Clearing the decimal, all the coefficients have to have the same number of values after the decimal point. Get rid of the decimal point, and then solve. Okay, so now we have variables on both sides. So the goal here is to get everything with an x to one side, everything without an x to the other side. It doesn't matter which side your numbers go to, it's fine either way, but you want everything to one side or the other. Usually I try and keep the x's positive. So if we look at this one, 9 is less than 10, so I'm going to subtract this 9x. So I keep the x's positive. It wouldn't matter if you do the other way, it'll still work. So just pick one and start going. But I like to keep my x's positive. So then you get x minus 15 equals 2. And now I want to get the x by itself, so I'm going to add 15 to both sides, and x equals 17. And that's your answer. So just to show you that it doesn't really matter which direction you go, I'm going to subtract this 7x for this one. So normally I would add the 3x, because then you can keep it positive x, but it doesn't actually matter which direction. So this would give us 10 minus 10x is going to equal negative 60. So then we'll subtract 10 from both sides. Negative 10x equals negative 70. Divide by negative 10, and you'll get x equals 7. If you had done the other direction, you would have ended up with 70 equals 10x, and you still would have gotten 7 as your answer. So it doesn't matter which number you bring to each side, as long as you get all the x's to one side, all the numbers to the other. All right, so here's your instructions, you guys would say. So you want to clear any fractions if possible, just to make it easier. And then distribute anything you have, so it's all distributed out. Combine any like terms you have, but not across the equal sign, right? And then move all the variables to one side, all the constant term to the other side. So usually you want to subtract or get rid of the variable with a smaller term or smaller coefficient, but you don't have to. And then solve like you normally would. Okay, so now we're going to do one that has all of these steps together. So distribute these first. You get 8x plus 4 equals 6 minus 2x plus 8. And I'll draw the line in. So now you want to combine like terms. On this side, I can combine these together. On the other side, there's an x and a coefficient or a constant. There's nothing you can do. So 8x plus 4 will equal negative 2x plus 14. Then I'm going to add the 2x to both sides. You get 10x plus 4 equals 14. Subtract the 4 from both sides. 10x equals 10. Divide by 10. And x equals 1. And that's your answer. All right, this one is a little different. Remember, if you have a negative, it's like there's a little 1 in front. So you want to distribute the negative 1 to both of these. So you get 3 minus 4x plus 12 equals 6 minus x plus 3. And then combine like terms. So here I can combine these two together. And I can also combine these two together, but not all of them because they're not all on the same side. So you'll get negative 4x plus 15 equals negative x plus 9. I'm going to add the x to both sides. Negative 3x plus 15 equals 9. Subtract 15. Negative 3x is going to equal negative 6 divided by negative 3. X equals 2. And that's your answer. So then your homework is going to be the 2.4.1 on Math Excel.